Hi there guys, Vino here and welcome to this next entry in my Vlogmas series. And for this video I'm going to be paying tribute to one of my favourite films and probably the film that got me into the horror genre in whole. I owe a hell of a lot to this film in terms of my own personal journey when it comes to horror films. To give you a little bit of a backstory, I was brought up by my parents to adhere and respect the age ratings placed on films here in the UK, which during me growing up, they've changed over time, but while I was growing up, U, which stands for Universal, PG, parental guidance, 12, 15, 18, and there is an X rating. X rating used to be the old 18 rated rating, basically, but X rating is actually now reserved for educational things, media, that are educational in nature, but are technically explicit. So if they any kind of sex ed video that literally shows you a penis or a vagina, basically, are technically 18 rated films, they're just X rated for the educational market, basically. And the film I'm going to be talking about today, that probably is in the title somewhere, is Alien, which was rated an 18. I wanted to watch 18 from quite an early age, I would say. I would always see it in video stores and places like that, supermarkets, wherever it's being sold from. I would see the 18 red, circle on there and think, what kind of, gory movie could that be? And so many people, including my own mum, told me that I would thoroughly enjoy that film when I was old enough to enjoy it. Well, years and years later, as I started getting more into films and stuff like that, I of course decided to buy a certain box set. And we come on to the first entry that I'm going to be talking about, and the first way I acquired the film, and that is through the Alien quadrilogy box set. Now, this isn't actually my original quadrilogy box set, although looking at this, it actually might be, looking at the damage this has sustained, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I walked into a shop in my city called Ross Records, and at the time I was actually only 17, and that's the red 18 rating I was talking about. I don't have a depiction easily of the 15 or 12 rating, but they got a white background, where all the 18 ratings have a red background. So you can understand what I mean by, oh, it's red. Well, that could be gory. It signifies the blood and all that kind of stuff. There might be a reason why it's red. I haven't really looked into it, but hey ho. So this is the first way I owned the film, and boy, is this a way to own the film. Until a certain Blu-ray set came out, which we're talking about after this particular set, this was the way to buy Alien. This set cost a very pretty penny back in the day. When a different form medium comes out, whether it be VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever it may be, people want to see marquee titles on that platform, and when Alien came to DVD, it came in style. Also came with a very pretty penny. I remember this costing well over £100 when it first came out, which is way outside my personal budget at the time, should I say. But I know some people, some friends, the family, that bought the set when it first came out, as they were fans themselves and thoroughly enjoyed it themselves. So let's take a look at the Alien quadrilogy box sets. This is a really nice box set. The egg on there is embossed. The alien on the back, that embryotic kind of alien on the back, is embossed. You can see that it's raised. When you get inside, when you take off the slip cover, you've got this rather glossy looking shiny innard. You've got one of the failed Ripley clones on the front. You open it up, you're greeted with this really good booklet, I must say. The inside is also shiny, and then each of the films are on their own segment of the digistack. This is just, the way to own, at the time, all of the Alien films, and this is of course Alien all the way through to Alien Resurrection. Now, each movie is on its own disc, and each disc contains both versions of a movie if that movie has two versions. So for Alien, the principal film in the series, and the one I'm mainly talking about here, it does contain both the theatrical release and the director's cut, released in 2003, which Ridley Scott went back to because apparently he was never happy with the original, which is funny because Ridley Scott is also never been happy with Blade Runner, apparently, until the final cut, released much later. So it seems Ridley Scott is that much of a perfectionist that he goes back to some of his earlier masterpiece films that a lot of people call masterpieces and wants to rectify them in some way, shape or form. Each movie also has a requisite special features disc, and this is chock full of special features. A really good documentary on this disc actually is how Alien came about and how it's almost going to be a B movie before it was kind of, you know, thrusted into or launched into, you know, a movie standard, I suppose. Then of course you've got Aliens. I'm not going to focus so much on the sequels in this video, but of course Aliens is still a masterpiece in its own right, a very different film to the first one. Not my personal favourite out of the series, as you can tell from this video, but still a very good film. Alien 3, now that's the special features to Aliens. Alien 3, I still enjoy Alien 3 for what it is. Obviously it's not a perfect film, marred by, you know, studio interference and marred by a lot of things in the background. David Fincher, the director, walking off set probably multiple times from what I've heard. It is a bit of a cluster of a film. If you want to learn more about, those two are stuck to. Oh, there we go. If you want to learn more about how much of a clusterfuck that film was, then you can look at the special features disc for Alien 3 and learn some behind the scenes stuff and why that film was, yeah, a bit of a disaster. So we then move on to Alien Resurrection, which I actually enjoy for its campiness, its cartoonness. I actually really enjoy Alien Resurrection. Yes, it bastardizes Ripley's character, but it's actually, in my opinion, still a fun film, although very cartoony. You then, of course, get the... Oh, they're the wrong way around. Okay. So that is the Alien Resurrection bonus features disc. You also get a bonus features disc that just covers the whole set and talks about a bunch of different stuff. As I said, you also get a really nice booklet that has a foreword in there by Ridley Scott and outlines all of the beautiful content that's on this set. So, a further background to this. So, this is actually the second version of the quadrilogy box set I own. I've sold my entire collection twice now. Reason being is on both occasions I needed to do a PC upgrade or needed to survive for a few months. Obviously I'm not going to go into the explicit detail of why, but I've sold my collection on a couple of occasions and it gutted me to do this. I'm not going to beat around the bush on that one, but I sold my Alien Quadrilogy box set one of those times because it actually got me a fair price. I think it got me £10, considering that when I got this set originally from Rush Records it was only £20, and you can easily find it online for £5 to £10 if you know where to look on eBay and places like that. To get £10 for it was actually a pretty good deal, and I couldn't pass up getting that extra £10 from the place that I took it down to. Now, my original set, I was sat on my bed just to the right of me watching on a little 14-inch CRT TV, and at the time one of our cats, Floss, decided to come and join me to watch the film with me. I was so engrossed in the film that I didn't notice that Floss stepped on the outer sleeve when the injured was inside and crushed it by doing this. Now, if you actually look at this set, there's a crease you can't really see that. I'm going to try and zoom in a bit, focus for you. There's a crease right there. Focus back on me. That crease, if this is the same set, and I'm beginning to think it is, was caused by Floss, you know, as she stepped on it. I was very annoyed when she first did it, but then she's a cat. She didn't know any better. I then gave her a massive hug, and she then literally, you know, laid on top of me while watching the film, which is actually unusual for Floss. She only got that affectionate in certain points in time, so for her to be that affectionate, I could hardly, you know, she melted my heart at that point, and I couldn't be mad at her anymore. And it's quite interesting. Whoops, I just dropped my phone. Hopefully that hasn't done anything to the recording. It doesn't seem to have. Yeah, I could hardly stay mad at her at that point in time. But yeah, if this is the same set, then that's kind of eerie that I managed to rebuy the same set that I sold years and years ago. On the subject of rebuying things and the fact that I've had to sell things in the past, I used to own a really nice version of this next set I'm going to show you. And this next set is the Alien Anthology Blu-ray set. If you thought that DVD set I just showed you was something special, then this blows it way out of the water. When Alien came to Blu-ray, it came to Blu-ray in bloody fashion. I understand that Ridley Scott was heavily involved in this set, plus a lot of other filmmakers, and this set is fantastic. The discs in this set are fantastic. However, I'm going to warn you at the jump. There are two versions of the anthology set out there. There's this set, which is the 6-disc set, it might be. Maybe even more than that. I'll count the discs. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 discs. There's a 4-disc version out there, which is a basic set. It doesn't contain all the special features this contains. So if you want the same content this gives you, then look out for the 6-disc version. There are many ways to buy the 6-disc version. Just make sure you buy that and not the bare bones set. So this is the outer cover. That is a very is a very hard outer box. That contains a really nice sort of profile shot of the xenomorph on the front, and then the egg on the back, very nice glossy fashion. You also go inside. There's also two versions of the 6-disc version, which is this version and a standard jewel case version. You can also get the 6-disc version through the Prometheus to Alien box set. That's another way you can get the 6 discs of this set. Talking about the 6 discs of this set, this particular one is a really nice digipack. So this one contains each movie on its own disc, plus another handy dandy book. I'm not going to keep this open for too long. It also contains 2 discs that is making the anthology, and I'm going to close this up before I end up damaging it and then getting very annoyed at myself. So this contains all of the extras from the Alien quadrilogy set. It contains all the extras from the Laserdisc versions of the films that came much prior. In other words, this is the way to own all of the Alien films, and completely blows that quadrilogy box set out the water. I own that for nostalgic reasons, but this is the way to go. If you want the films, get them on this, because this is just a glorious set that has so many special features and really does deserve the moniker and the title of anthology, because it really is. It explores everything to do with the films and does it in such glorious fashion. There we go. So, final set I have to show you, and another case of me having to rebuy something to replace older films that I got rid of is this. The Alien Predator Total Destruction Ultimate DVD Collection, which, as you can tell when I do this, contains all the films from Alien to Alien vs Predator. So, I bought this because I used to own Predator 1 and 2 in their own box set, and then Alien vs Predator and AVP 2 individually. So this was actually not a lot of money, and looking around, I got this for about the same price, for cheaper actually, sorry, than it would have cost me to buy a box set with both AVP and AVP 2 and Predator 1 and 2 in it. This is a bare bones, all of these are bare bones releases, so I'm not going to go too much into them, but I will of course show you the Alien one. So there we go. They each contain their own little slipcase, which actually, that contains a nice bit of artwork that I don't have on any other releases, so I like that. Smells a bit odd, but inside you've got just a basic disc. And if you actually look at the special features, if I can hold this up to the camera, and sorry about that guys, I was trying to focus back into my face and accidentally stopped the video. Anyway, as you saw by that, and it even says scene access, which is basically chapter select. So it just, and there's an English audio commentary by Ridley Scott, which is probably the same that's on those other DVDs. So you can see how bare bones this is when it tells you that interactive menus and scene access are two of the special features. Anyway, despite the fact these are such bare bones versions of these films, it's still a very cheap set to buy, and you get 8 films in there. So if you don't own any of the Predator or the Alien films, or want a cheap way of getting some of them if you don't have them, this is actually a good way to go. And it's the way I went to get Predator 1 and 2 and AVP 1 and 2 back in the collection, so I can watch them whenever I want. In fact, I was actually looking downstairs before shooting this video on maybe getting Blu-ray copies of Predator 1 and 2, and of course AVP 1 and 2, and of course I don't have in my collection the Predators film done by Robert Rodriguez and the Predator film done by Shane Black. Done by Shane Black a lot later. And having just watched Iron Man 3, and of course that was directed by Shane Black, I am interested in the Shane Black Predator film. Some people seem to have not gotten a massively good reception, but I'm interested to check it out because I liked Iron Man 3 personally. So, you know, maybe Shane Black isn't as bad as a director as some people make him out to be. Anyway guys, hopefully you enjoyed my delve into the ways I personally own Alien. That is subject to change, actually, the way I own Alien. There are actually some sets on eBay, and places like that I'm looking to maybe snap up to expand my collection a little bit more. If you haven't guessed by this video, if you haven't guessed by the way I speak about the film, Alien is one of my favourite films of all time, and has had such an impact on my life and such an impact on me, let alone, you know, the film world as a whole. So I owe a lot to the film, and as someone who doesn't like double dipping and chastises other people for double dipping, and the fact I double dip, I've triple dipped, and maybe even want to quadruple dip on the series, it kind of speaks for itself that I own several different versions of the film, and I'm more than happy doing that. That's how much the film means to me. Anyway, until next time guys, please take care, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.